This is Brent Hearis, personal coach, also productivity coach. And the title of this video is Operate from the Center of Your Being. Really, all of these videos, whatever I make, all the different lessons that I offer, they are at its core the same lesson, coming at it from different vantage points. And so, what's the lesson? The lesson is to learn how to trust that all is well and that nothing's wrong, to trust in your own intuition, to trust in the flow of the universe, to move directly into the situation as it presents itself, to release all negativity about how things ought to be or how things should have gone, fears about potential realities that might materialize, and to just flow with the moment as it presents itself every single time, and to do it in a way that you are engaged with it completely, not in the sense of being really aggressive and trying to solve the problem or get through it and get through to the other side and being urgent to get where you're going, nor at the same time shrinking back in fear and trying to hide. Because what you'll find, I think, for a lot of us, if you have a dream, say, and in this dream there's something chasing you, which happens to a lot of us. We'll be in a dream and something's chasing us. You'll notice that no matter how quickly you are running or getting away from this thing in your dream, the thing that's chasing you is just always nipping at your heels. It's always just right there. It seems to be going as fast as you're going. And conversely, if there's something that you're chasing in this dream, there's something that you're trying to get, that thing is just always evading your grasp. It's always the same distance ahead of you. And so in our lives, it operates in exactly the same way. Although in this case, it's a little bit different, because even though you can accomplish something in the material realm, you can hit a certain business level, income level, grade level, you can get a certain relationship, you can get your weight or your body fat down to a certain point, and that's real, and you'll hit that. What a lot of us are doing is, when we seek these types of outcomes, we're trying to get the grade, get the money, get the physical fitness. What we're doing is we're seeking a certain sense of fulfillment. We're trying to arrive. We're trying to get to a place where we can finally feel okay. It's like when I get there, I will feel okay. I will be okay, and I can chill, and then I can kind of go from there, but at least I'll be okay. I hope that makes sense. That general sense of okayness. And so that sense of okayness is only available in a moment such as now. Because I think you and I both know that the deepest level of fulfillment, the deepest level of satisfaction, of that sense of coming home and just being finally okay, it's not dependent on any condition. It's not like you can achieve any one thing and then feel okay about yourself. It would be, you may for a second, but it's very short-lived. And so then, of course, the key is to discover that fulfillment in a moment such as right now, because it's only available right now, to immerse yourself in that fulfillment, to know that there's nothing significant that you can accomplish in the material realm. There's just nothing that you can accomplish that is that important, that it would really, that it could offer what I like to call absolute value, the true value. That, there's nothing, so there's nothing that you can accomplish that can give that to you. To really know that, to know that this satisfaction is only available now, and then from that place, go about your life, go about achieving and accomplishing and growing. And when you can grow and accomplish and achieve from that place, there's it comes from a place now of joy and flow, and it's enjoyment, and you're having a good time, and you're getting out of bed in the morning and you're stoked for your life. You're yes, I'm really excited to get to this one thing. There's also a sense of allowing things to take as long as they need to take, releasing this urgency when it comes to getting things done. Again, all of these goals that you have in your life that you want to achieve, time and effort will be required. And ironically, the quickest way to achieve these goals, to achieve these results, is to allow them to take as long as they need to take. So that's the main message that is kind of garbed in every video. Garbage truck. I'm going to pause to let this guy by. So, as I mentioned in a lot of my different videos, I am a coach, and so I have a lot of sessions with people. And in recent times, it's been a lot of sessions where I've been guiding people to move into higher levels of activity. So, playing a bigger game, playing on a higher level, accomplishing more, growing in terms of influence, and growing in terms of like the importance of what they're doing. And so this is exciting stuff, and people who are really rising, and I feel that in myself as well. It's a direction that I intend to move in as well. For example, I intend to speak to a larger audience. I intend to release more material and hopefully have it circulate more widely, so that I can serve more people, especially in these times of COVID-19 isolation. And a message that has been emerging for myself, a message that has been really opening up, and I've just been exploring this deeply, and it's been giving such value and such benefit, is this message of operating from the center. And so when I'm coaching, I attempt to I'm still unwinding. I'm a little bit tense, I confess, but I'm just so you'll see this happen a little bit. Thank you. When I'm coaching, to coach from the center of my being. And when I'm speaking, as I'm making this video, I'm attempting to make this video from the center of my being. And as I do anything, cooking, walking, exercising, running, playing, I'm playing a lot of online games with my friends lately, doing all of that from the center. So in this moment, for example, as I speak to you, what I'm doing is I'm not coming off, I sometimes call it the throne of my being. I'm not getting up and moving off of the throne of my being. I'm not, for example, pushing at the periphery. So to push at the periphery would be to I'm trying to get through this. I'm trying to get to my point. I'm trying to do the video quickly. I'm trying to speak quickly. I'm just, this kind of pushing, to the front, nor am I to the side, nor am I pulling back. I'm just being right here. And so part and parcel with sitting in the center of your being and operating from the center is allowing the wisdom to come to me as it wants to come. So there's a certain improvisational element to what I'm doing. I'm speaking, as Brendan Burchard says, extemporaneously. I'm speaking without rehearsal. And I'm not trying to grab for the next word as I speak, nor am I holding on to any one particular thing. It's just every single moment as it comes. And so this can be done, of course, on a micro level, and it can be done on a macro level, where a lot of us say, if we're not attempting to move into higher levels of productivity and accomplishment, some of us are afraid for our lives. It's like, oh no, money's running out, things are falling apart. There are a lot of deadlines that are nipping at my heels, and my life is just constantly on the brink of collapse, and I need to go in order to do it. One of the aspects of not operating from your center is when you are taking short-term wins, killing the golden goose in order to get a short-term victory at the expense of your long-term health and wellness. By contrast, when you're sitting in your center, there's our wellness is never once sacrificed ever. We never ever sacrifice our wellness, even a minute. We never move out of peace, even for a minute, in order to kind of lunge ahead and get something. It's always staying exactly on point and allowing all of it to come to us on its own time. To do that, to operate from the center, is to not wait for anything. It's to not wait for the weekend to say, or to wait for the end of the day. So I'd like to invite you now to come to your center, sit in your center, and notice how you might be more tense than you realized you were. Conversations such as these, they can point to how tense you are. An indication of not being on center is that tension, is that sense of just constantly trying to, either like tense in order to defend potential threats, or tense like trying, in a state of constantly juicing ourselves, or like pushing ourselves, in a state of constantly pushing. Bringing awareness to the areas of ourselves where we are off center actually serves to recenter ourselves. To recenter ourselves is not a doing. It's not something that you can do. It's something that you just kind of fall into. It's a center of gravity that you fall back into when you just become aware of all of the pushing and urgency that you've been doing, and you just realize that it doesn't serve you, that it's not getting you anywhere, that it's only hurting you. So I did make some notes here about the different things to cover. So, okay, one question that you can play with in order to come to center and to operate from the center of your being is, what is the most expedited way to grow your crops? Because I can only assume this about you, that if you're listening to this, there are changes that you want to make to your life, and these are substantial changes. And these changes, if they're significant and if they're worthwhile, they will take time. They will take extended periods of time to change. And it will take a certain effort and commitment and consistency of behavior in order to arrive at. And all of these things, our instant gratification impulse, they are reluctant to give up. This is a tall ask of a human being to offer these things: effort, patience, time, consistency, and commitments. And there's a quality about these changes that we want to make, that they cannot be rushed. They cannot be rushed. There is a necessary passage of time. And so that's why I liken this sort of thing to the planting and growing of crops. How long does it really, in other words, what is the most expedited way to grow your crops? What is the quickest way to grow, say, like corn? How can you hurry it up? It's interesting because on one hand, there is a way to do it efficiently. There is a way to do it properly. And there is a way to do it that you can get it done in the quickest amount of time. Like, for example, to use, I have no idea, but to use like the right fertilizer, to water it at the right times, to give it the right amount of care. There's an optimal way to grow corn. But then after that, beyond your best efforts and beyond your most intelligent application of yourself, you're just going to get what you get at the rate that you get it. And can you permit yourself, and can you permit the corn, and can you permit the universe itself the grace of your patience? Can you surrender to the time that it takes to accomplish these things? Would you be willing to go, okay, like I'm willing to allow this to take as long as it needs to take? And to acknowledge that after this point of your highest and best effort, any further attempts to expedite the growth of your corn, in other words, anything that you attempt to do to grow this corn quicker than it would otherwise naturally be grown, will create some kind of damage. And it's interesting because I believe this actually is the case in a lot of big farming industries, where a lot of poisons are added to our food in order to make it grow bigger and better and quicker. And so that is at the expense, it's a short-term game at the expense of our long-term wellness. And so in that way, the agricultural industry and ourselves as a society, we are off center. We're going for the prize before it's ripe, before it's ready. So how long does it take to, what is the most expedited way to raise our crops? Here's yet a different way of considering this principle of residing in the center. I'm doing this in real time as we talk. This is something I'm practicing and working on in real time. This is a lesson that's blossoming. And I confess, when I make videos, I'm sometimes off center. So I'm practicing just, being right here. Anyways, your life. So in terms of what you're doing on a daily basis and how you've structured your week. So if you are like one of the clients that I work with, you're a high performer and it is your intention to become a high performer and to move further in that direction, to accomplish as much as you can on a weekly basis, which is like more power to you. Like I'm right there too. I want to accomplish as much as I can. I want to get as far as I can. I want to do as much as I can in any one given week. And I have a lot of ambitious plans for that. But a question becomes increasingly relevant in a moment like this one, which is not a question so much as an idea that the whole operation must be balanced. It must be balanced. So in other words, when you're work, like, are you just working throughout the whole day? Are you like spending 10 hours doing your work and then like another 2 hours of some kind of like side hustle project, and then like you work out and then you go right to bed? Is there any renewal in your life? Because if you wake up the next morning and you're not excited and you're not happy to move into your day, if you feel reluctance to get into your day, even if it's just a little bit of reluctance, what that means is that the whole thing is not balanced. It's top heavy. It means that you are becoming increasingly reluctant over time. It means you are over time breathing out more than you're breathing in. See? And like, time is against that type of setup. Like if I say that I'm gonna breathe out 60% and breathe in 40%, then what's gonna happen when you check in on me a week from now? Obviously the whole thing will collapse. It's time bound. So it applies on a daily basis, and it also applies on a weekly basis. It's like, do you give yourself enough downtime on the weekends so that when the next week begins, you're fresh, you're utterly fresh and ready and recharged and totally on point in all the different ways? That's key. So the whole operation, because I get it. There's a lot of stuff that you want to do. I'm right there with you. I'm a little bit top heavy myself. I'm starting to rein it in as we go on, but I have like group coaching, private coaching, book that I'm writing, music that I'm making, these videos, broadcast to my email list. It's playing games in the evenings, and it's like a lot of stuff on my plate. But yeah, the whole operation must be balanced. Why did I bring that up? Oh yeah, because it is possible to do all these things. That's the point that I wish to make. So if we're looking at the corn growing analogy, like there's a maximum in terms of how much corn you can get from a single plot in a single period of time. It's like there's a maximum. There's like only like a certain amount that you can do. But over time, as you get better, you can get more plots of land to grow more corn, and you can scale up your operation and handle more responsibility over time, on the condition that you can master the little bit that you have originally. So what a lot of people are doing is the equivalent of like messing up their corn crops, but then purchasing more land to grow more corn. And that's messed up too, and nothing's happening. And there's this big divide between the game that they talk. It's like, I'm going to do this, and this. But then what actually comes out is nothing, no fruit, no yield. So the whole operation must be balanced. And if you can balance it, day in and day out, week in and week out, and get used to it and make it into a machine, turn it into a rhythm, into a groove. You're not waiting for the weekend, right? You're not waiting to get somewhere, and you're not pulling back in any sense. You're just in the center. You're on keel every single day going forward. Then over time, you can take on more and do more and reach more and kind of grow in influence and power. And that is ironically the quickest way to do this. It's the quickest way to get to where you're going, is by giving your crops, yourself, the universe, the grace of all the time it needs to take, as much time as it needs to take. So I think that is about it. So sit in the center of your being. Don't allow anything to usurp the throne of you. Oh, don't like imagine like a king or a queen sitting in his or her throne, and like you have a kingdom to operate. You have your empire to operate, and you see like a problem somewhere in the distance. Don't get up off of your throne, because that's where your authority and power is. Don't get up and go over there to solve the thing. Let it come here, summon it over, or let it arrive whenever it arrives, and then deal with it at the time. That brings us to an element of trust. And maybe, I think this will be the last one. Yes, yeah, this will be the last one. An element of trust is applicable here as well. Trust that all is well. Trust that all is unfolding according to its greatest divine timing. Trust that, like, what's amazing about life itself is when you look at, say, a flower or a tree or an animal or any like kind of organic thing that grows, but this also includes mountain ranges and every element of the universe. All of it is encoded. Strangely enough, it's encoded with its own growth blueprint. For example, every seed, when you plant it, it knows exactly what the fuck to do, as long as the conditions are there, as long as it gets its water, its sun, as long as it gets time. It needs all these resources. If any one of these resources is cut off, then it won't. Then the growth will stop and it'll die. It'll wither and rot and die. And such is life sometimes. But as long as the conditions are there, then its future is secured. Its future is secured. Its destiny is locked into place. And there's a certain inevitability. I love this. Is one of my favorite paradoxes, because your success, your growth, your highest manifestation, your highest actualization, it's something that you do. You must do it. It's not automatic. It's manual. You have to do it. But it is also weirdly inevitable. It's also firmly fixed in your future, as long as the conditions are created, as long as you sit in the center of yourself and move accordingly. So would you be willing to trust that? Would you be willing to move into trust? And would you be willing, because it's strangely uncomfortable. You're releasing this imaginary sense of control that you have when you come into your center. You're releasing these imaginary reins, because you believe that you have control if you move to your periphery and try to like get in there and do things. But you don't. It's a very illusory type of control. There is no control. Not really. The only control that's there is your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the moment, how you approach the moment. Operate from the center of your being. Cool. So, promo announcements. I have two, let's see. I'm opening up temporarily. I'm opening up my $5 session. So if you wish to have a full-on private one-on-one coaching session with me, 45 minutes, we can dive into your problems, your issues, and we can talk about your highest potential and what you need. And I can devote everything that I have to this conversation. $5 Canadian. I'm going to link it below. And go ahead and take advantage of that. If the link is gone, that means my roster is full once again, and I cannot accommodate you for the time being, and I apologize. Keep an eye out also. I'm releasing a new PDF reader called The 5 Pillars of Self-Mastery. It's going to come out within a couple of weeks, maybe 14 days, I might say. And it's dope, and it's going to be very, very beneficial if it is your desire to move into self-mastery. Topics include flow, self-leadership, clarity of purpose, commitment, learning how to commit to yourself and commit to your knowing. And these are the 5 pillars that will hold up your self-integrity and move you into sustained high productivity. So those are my major announcements for now. Anyways, great to chat with you again. I wish you all the best. I hope you are taking great advantage of this time in isolation. And if you'd leave a comment in terms of what you got out of this video, that would be very valuable. Leaving a like as well. And that's what I got for you. Take care, my friend.